Hey y'all, it's Shay Seeking, and I'm here with a quick video. This video is going to be one of my random thoughts or shares. Excuse me. Um, I just wanted to do a quick video on this whole indigenous movement in general, or all the movements that are going on amongst us that we just feel like they're new and just come about, or that people have talked about them before, but they're becoming something that a lot more people are talking about now. And you guys already know that the main movement that has been put on my spirit, now that I've left that whole religious aspect of looking at things, nobody wants to hear that people have been called, um, or they feel like this is a spiritual awakening or something. But to me, I feel like there is something that is happening or manifesting, and it is calling certain people to see certain things and spread the news. Now, it's so funny how people in such religions can read about these type of things happening in their Bible, but when they have close family and friends in these times that everybody feels like might be some type of end times or some type of times that we need to be paying attention, we've been so misled to think of the power that is within us, that is leading us in a certain light, that we've been so groomed to reach outside of ourselves and look for somebody else as a savior, as opposed to looking within and looking within our community of people for these said saviors to come. We've been taught, we've been given a perception of something, and we ran with it instead of studying the Bible. We've read the Bible. So at this day and age, when we have all these tools to go by and look into, um, and just say you're one of the people that have been affected. The reason why nobody's sitting here putting all this indigenous stuff and Indian stuff up just for some people may be thinking that they're doing it for just a nationality type of reason. That's important, but it goes down into the gut of things. It's more important because, like, in any for us to get some kind of acknowledgement or to go back in and start rearranging things and putting in our papers with these same people. Like, the thing is, it doesn't matter. Like, our ancestors that were here maybe wanted to be written down as something else on these rolls and on these other different documents. And what happened? Things were changed, just like now they're making everything digital with birth certificates and stuff like that. So they can change your stuff to whatever they want to in the future. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to documents and all this stuff, that's doing the same thing that our ancestors maybe made a mistake with doing, is going in and feeling like you need this system, that in order for us to self-identify or identify what this movement is, we have to go to them. And when I say them, I mean the same them that are oppressing and that have been here hosting and being a parasite on the people, nations of darker view people around the world. And I say that because I feel like, from the research that I've done, regardless of what anyone says, that most of these places started off with darker view people, and everybody else came and flooded on them and mixed with them. And a lot of the things about slavery that we don't hear is about the breeding and the breeding out of the black race. And since these things are materials that's able to be used, which any way it goes, this is all materials, people's perception, maybe even lies written down. We'll never be able to get to the truth. But to get to a place inside of you where there is a spiritual calling, where this consumes you, you think about it all day. There's no like, nobody would want to go through the moves that a lot of us had to go through to get to this point where we're now seeing something. So it's hard enough to even be there, then to start sharing things like the deceit of this system and the things that are the ugly things that are going on in the entertainment system and the education system. All these things we participate in, and we help grow these beasts. We're in the belly of all of them. So when we talk about, when I'm speaking out about celebrities, this is something that if you have not been given eyes to see, or if you have not been able to see what this is, then you, for one, will not be able to give people the caution or whatever it is that's urging you to, that's sending off this signal within you to see these things that you once loved too. You once admired these people too. So it's hard enough to be an outcast and already withdrawing, because a lot of us will say that we've already been cut off, or we've been like cast to the side. A lot of us like our alone time. Some of us, but the thing is, what I'm saying is there's no joy. There's no like saying, I'm doing this because this is what I want to. There's a certain something that you have to go through to get to some of these stages that people are at. And to say, that you believe that there were so-called witches or healers and all this other stuff, and people that can see back in a certain time, if we do have a source or a creator, okay, I don't agree with the whole Christianity way of looking, the Christian way of looking at it, but if we do have one, okay, then he would have a way to connect with us without the materials that man has been able to bring to us. So when I say that, I'm saying some of this is unseen things. These are gifts that some people have been given. So for other people to come and start tearing people down, and the thing is, there's not just one person. There's not just one race. There are people all over the place. And so what if they got some information from somebody online? Haven't you? So what if they got some information from an old book? Haven't you? You know what I'm saying? Aren't you going into old documents that have been staged and put together for to deceive people into signing up for things that they didn't need to? All this stuff is just information, and we're just taking from the information and bringing it to people, because I know for myself that there's something like an activation thing that does go on, and that's the easiest way for me to explain it. That sometimes it takes you to see something and snap you out of something, and then you can be tuned into your gifts and you can delve into those a little bit more, because it's about more of uplifting a people, bringing you back in order, bringing things back to the surface for us to see before it's too late. Look at the condition of the people. Look at the way that things are going for us right now. This right here, it brings something back into you. A fight. You got a different type of way about yourself. Most of us are trying to heal ourselves and also heal the nation. So it's not that we just want to be Indian because it would be a cool thing to be. No, because in my eyes and with the research that I've done, I feel like things like this image right here. If you look at this, they're saying that these are Indians, but like there's different layers to this stuff. There's different layers to this stuff. And I think a lot of people, I think a lot of us are stuck in the indigenous forum, and I think we could spread out a little bit in exposing other things. And the main reason why I think this is supposed to be happening is to just for once, for this group of people to see that they have lied about who you are, and people in high places and governments and things like this know exactly who you are, and they've been lying to you. If that's not a wake-up call for all, if that's not a wake-up call to know that you are actually the people that they've been low-key talking about killing off when they came here, and they're still doing so, we have to get these things in order so we can see actually what's going on with the people, so we can see how to help and assist the power that may be, or the energy that may be here to assist us in waking us up from what the hell been going on. So it's very important. It's important for us to pass this down to the young children. It's important for them to see things a different way, because they're going to start chopping more and more of us out of history. And in a minute, really, with all the mixing and all this other stuff, and gentrifying and putting us in different places. And then now we're leaving those places from with each other. We're going out into the world, and people are picking their other halves or their mates or whatever. And it just seems like we're just getting more and more watered down. I call it flooded. Because in my eyes, I feel like these things in especially in the Bible that are talking about floods could possibly talk about a flood once in a while, but a lot of times it's talking about a flood of nations. People that came over from the waters and have flooded the indigenous people. And if you look around and you see that all these places, India, all these other places, maybe even China and Japan, were filled with darker colored people of that so-called nation. And now you go back and look and you can barely find any people of that color. That's concerning to me, because then we have to get to the issue and not be afraid to face the fact that America was populated with darker view people, and they've changed and lied. The people that are hosting this shit over here in your District of Columbia, which is that 10-mile radius in Washington, D.C., those people know about this and have been low-key acting like it's all in your head, that you've been treated this way, all in your head, the way that you feel this way. And the whole time, you have been being murdered off and killed and done all these things. And now look at us. You send your children to school, and it seemed like they the only black kid in the whole neighborhood. I mean, in the whole classroom. So, I mean, I'm just saying, there's only a couple of us here and there. So when you look at that on the picture as a whole and see that if this continent it's important for you to see these things, because it brings a lot of things into aspect for people that cannot see. That this is more. We were sent here to do more. There are some of us that are calling out saying we're sent here to do more than just be entertained, more than being educated, more than being somebody that believes or has faith. There's a sense of knowing that resonates through these particular people, but you can't even see it because you're too busy doing those other things. So when somebody tells you that Hollywood may be filled with transgender people that have been deceiving you on an A-list level, look into it. You don't know. And all we can go by is what we actually see. Okay? When somebody tells you that the police are said to be here to serve you and protect you, but if you look back into their history, and if you look back into who's really supposed to be in charge and who you really are, then you will see that that's not the case. Same thing with the military. Now, I mean, I don't want to go all into that or whatever, but there may be a time when we have to be concerned about military forces with people in this land. And you're thinking that they're there to protect you and serve you also, and it may not be that way because they work for that system. And if you get out of line with that system, then you will see that it ain't what you thought it was. Okay? So we need to just start paying attention. A lot of this is a cry out to start paying attention to what's going on in your world. It's more than just being here to go shopping and to buy things and to be materialistic and, all these other things that I feel like we've been fooled into doing. So me, myself, and I included. But you know what? It's something when you're called out of this that you just leave all that stuff on the table. And it's just like you're walking and stuff is just falling off of your back and you feel so free. And it is an overload, but I have, it's a joyous one. That there's no way to explain. I think that there's someone assisting me. There's presence here. There's a presence here. So, and it's to aid us. If you want to pay attention, if you want to lend your ear, it will be there. So, I know a lot of you don't like to hear the religious thing or whatever. And like I said, I'm not a religious person, but I do feel like if we have a different perception and if we can start seeing reality in the world, then we can start applying that when we're reading that book. And then you can start seeing some of the things that I see that maybe in that particular book that's fooling you with giving you different modern names for places that may be ancient places that may have been residing right here in America. And when we look at this picture right here, this attire looks somewhat Roman to me. And these people don't look like they just have been outside and they live outside in a teepee and all this stuff. These people look like they've been evicted from somewhere. These people look like they're coming from somewhere. And don't get it twisted. What I'm trying to tell you is a lot of these places, I hope I'm not talking too long. A lot of these buildings and stuff that we have in our bigger cities that look like there's some kind of ancient Roman a lot of these Catholic churches and a lot of these buildings and monuments and stuff that we feel like they came here and they built and they just built it in the 1900s is bull. It's bull. If you want to look more into that, start looking into the mud flood. It's not, too many, brown skinned people talking about it or whatever, but that don't mean that it's not a cause for concern or something that you could look further into. A lot of these buildings, I'm just saying, they may not be as young as we think they are. I think that there was more to this whole Civil War, and there was more to, but I don't like telling people what. I just like to intrigue. I like to put little gems in so that people can, and that's all I really can do because I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? So I like putting little gems out that I know that sometimes I'm not even in that direction, but I feel like I'm missing some information, and I hear somebody else speak. And there's that thing that I was looking for, to go a little bit further with my research. But, these big old places that look like they used to be big mansions and castles and stuff like that, I think that this is where those people are coming from. I think that the destruction of Washington, D.C., the first one, when they burned it down, I think that this is where these people is coming from. I think that there's just a lot more to the story. And I think that there was already a fully, beautifully, well-maintained colony system with these buildings and everything, kingdoms, whatever you want to call it here, that when they make you think, even now we're going back into this indigenous things, we want to think that we're talking about they came here and they just found us in the woods. No. Even some stuff that I'm reading right now, there was already stuff going on here. There were already said black presidents here, and they want you to think that it was them taking on the customs of the whites that came here in order to govern. But this governing was already going on amongst these people, prominent people. They weren't in the woods. These people actually lived in these places. I'm going to try to go ahead and just do like a clip of some images and stuff just to share with you guys so you can kind of see where I'm coming from. Because they didn't come here and build these, they can't even build these buildings that I'm telling you guys about that are in San Francisco, Chicago, Milwaukee. You don't never look at them really, but once I show them to you, you'll start being able to look at them. They didn't just come and build these things. They couldn't even build it again today if they wanted to. Okay, so something else was going on here when they came here. So, I don't want to go too far into the video, but I just wanted to say that this whole movement is not to try to be something that you want or claim a name that doesn't belong to you. This was spoken of in your actual Bible. So I just don't understand. But I guess it's because it's coming from your people, and you've been taught over the years to disregard and not trust and just all these other things with your own people. This is where we're meeting this resistance, and a lot of people aren't ready to let go of what we should be letting go of in order to really put in work and rebuild mentally first our people a little bit at a time. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. If not, I can probably do another video to try to elaborate on it. But I'm really just saying, I might just try. I don't know if it's allowed, but I might try to share some other people's videos that inspire me to look, that have brought up things that I thought I saw, but really helped me put those things in perspective. I think I'm going to try to start doing stuff like that. And that way you guys can go through it or whatever. But no, don't let nobody fool you into thinking that memes is downplaying information and videos are downplaying information, or listening to other people and what they have to say about what's going on right now is this whole YouTube scholar thing and all this other stuff. Don't let nobody try to play you. There's a real message in the words that a lot of these people, your people, are saying right now. You just are in the mindset of just waiting for somebody to come and save us, and that's not gonna happen the way that you think it's gonna happen. Sorry. So, and they knew that when they gave you that way of thinking about that particular person. So, on that note, I will see you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.